Let me ask you then, obviously David lost the first fight. What does he need to do in the second fight for him to be victorious?
Today, it's coming on YouTube as well as on Sky. I do Keys to Victory for both David Haye and Tony Bellew on JD Ringside. Go and watch that tonight, myself and Andy Scott. Now, it's actually on tonight. But no, I believe that what David would have to do is be controlled aggression. You know what I mean? But have to put it on Tony Bellew, because that's what he's going to have to do. Because if he's going to try and fight smart, you're 37 years old. When the rounds get late now, you're not going to start increasing strength or endurance or things. It's not. You're going to decrease. So you're going to have to start fighting smart with controlled aggression. Snap your jab, because he gets to throw that authoritative jab. He throws his jab from down here, a la Roy Jones. That's how David Haye throws his jab. So David Haye throws his jab from there. When it raises up, you can't see it. So if he triggers that out snappy, then he can set up to come with his left hook, and he can follow through with that right hand and maybe catch Tony Bellew unawares. Tony Bellew, for instance, is going to have to be clever. And when I mean clever, he's going to have to be engaging, but he's going to have to control the distance. Make sure that he's just that little half step back to avoid those big shots, and even so, but to catch those shots on the arms, and as he catches them, to fire back. This is what makes the fight interesting. It makes it interesting because David Haye's got something to prove to the people who are saying, listen, I lost, but I shouldn't have lost. Tony Bellew's got something to prove, because Tony Bellew's saying, I beat him, but I didn't really beat him, because people are trying to use this injury as the excuse. I know Tony's a very, very proud human being. So he's saying, well, watch, I have to go show you guys what time of day it is. And I believe that it's going to go late. I don't think it's going to be an early knockout or anything else like that. I believe this fight's going to go late. Very late. I can see this fight going, it's a 12-round fight, right? Right, I can see this fight going all 12, for the simple fact that Tony Bellew's got a decent chin, and he's also clever. Like he's saying, I'm not the better man. I'm not better like how I was when I was 25. But you're better to the fact of you're smarter now. Do you understand? Tony Bellew has evolved his style. David Haye hasn't evolved his style of fighting. David Haye's still boxing like he's 22, 23. You know what I mean? The a la Roy Jones, they're trying to throw in the quick hands and everything else, where you should be looking at evolution of fighters like who get longevity. Mike McCullum changed his style. James Toney changed his style. Bernard Hopkins changed his style. As you get older, you change your style. There's only certain guys that can be speedy guys from beginning to end. Joe Kawasaki, from beginning to end, he would fight at 100 miles an hour. Do you understand?
But do they have a long career, the ones that try to be speedy from start?
Well, there's only certain guys who are very special. There are guys who are special that can do that. Joe Kawasaki was special, that's why he could have that elongated career or be a world champion for 10 years. Do you understand? And then moving up to light heavyweight, and even though it was an alphabet title, we still see that as a lineal world title when he beat Bernard Hopkins. And that was like, wow, that's 10 years ago, like last week, even though that one is a bit debatable. But I'm just, you know how it goes, right? But yeah, those guys who fight that way usually start slowing up. And when you start slowing up, that's when you got to put other experience in the ring, and that's where the terminology ring generalship comes in, because you know how to gauge the ring. You know what I mean? But when certain guys, as they get older, they really get better, and then you get somebody like an Archie Moore, who's got like the biggest knockout ratio as for a world champion. Those guys now, they can bring a different spin on it. And they bring a different spin on it because they get tricky now. They'll know when to hit you, when not to, when to take breaks, when to take rests. That's the terminology of ring generalship and ring smarts.
Obviously, David Haye, since he's come back into the boxing scene, which is a couple of fights ago, he's had two different trainers. Now he's with Ismail Salas. How much of an effect can a new trainer have? Does he have a negative effect, a positive effect? Well, what's your take on this?
Well, it depends on the individual. If I want to accept what you're bringing to the table and properly embellish myself to it, then it's going to help. But you got to look at this. Ismail Salas has trained multiple world champions. Ismail Salas, we could believe that is head and shoulders above a Dave Coolwell, who is an excellent trainer, don't get twisted, right? But what happened in this area is like, it takes 4 to 5 fights before you get that confidence within that trainer. This has just been brought in. He's been training with David Haye, what, a few months?
Yeah.
Right. Compared to the years of graft that Tony Bellew has done with Dave Coolwell. So Dave Coolwell is in a better position, because Dave Coolwell is in a Trump position because he has a better relationship with his fighter. Ismail Salas don't know David Haye more than Sana. You know what I mean? When you're a trainer, you're not just a trainer, you're a psychologist, You know what I mean? You're a dietitian, you're a motivational guy, you are so many, and then you got to make out game plans as well. It's not just, oh, I'm a trainer and that's it. Like 1, 2, son, one. That don't work like that. And all the guys who think that that's what it's all about to be a trainer, they always come a cropper. Telling you this now.
So you've given me the breakdown. You said, it could go 12 rounds, but you haven't given me the one person's name who you think is going to win the fight.
Tony Bellew on points. And this is no disrespect to David Haye. I'm going Tony Bellew on points. If you look at somebody who's got a history of injuries, since the 2002 Commonwealth Games where he pulled out injured, he's got a history of injuries. What do you really think as you get older now you're going to get stronger and tougher? It doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? It doesn't work like that. Unless there's certain people that can reverse time. Certain people that can. But in a sport which is so demanding as this one here, it's very, very difficult to reverse time. And if you do reverse time, you're reversing it to the fact that you're becoming a little bit more smarter and becoming less susceptible to getting hit with shots because you're blocking and rolling and twisting and turning. And I don't think that David Haye has got that. But in saying that, David Haye has been a fantastic ambassador for British boxing, as for the athletic side of it. Do you know what I mean? For the athleticism that he has demonstrated over the years, and one of the greatest away wins ever in beating John Mormack when he became the WBC and WA World Cruiserweight Champion. That was fantastic, but that's years ago now. So we got to call it what it is.